Yeah, Ian Miles Cheong has been, and I'll just toss that. I don't know if you've seen this, Jim, but the last 2 or 3 days, I know you did a stream on Nick, so I know you saw that. But have you seen Ian Miles Cheong trying to insert himself directly into the middle of this for no other reason that I can tell besides he works for Will Chamberlain and Human Events now?
Yeah, he's always done that. Like it's funny because Nick keeps getting shit from people like Seb Gorka, this fucking 6-year-old guy who has to take a piss break every 2 minutes, and he's been calling Nick a grifter. But like when you're looking at Ian Miles Cheong, he's a definition of that. He's almost like Baked Alaska. He just goes from group to group to group, inserts himself into it, has some fucking hot take, and then a month later disavows the former hot take and is now on the other side of it. He should be out there flashbanging his dinner. I'm sorry, dogs. And, sticking his fucking nose into business that doesn't belong in. So I don't know what he's doing.
Well, you know what he was doing a year ago? He was on this fucking show. And there's clips of him on Heel Turn and other shows. And, of course, he was actually a business partner with Andy Worski and was on, all these...
Andy Worski, was that the guy that he called SWAT on to get killed?
Yeah, that's him. Yes, that's
okay,
guy.
That was Wild Goose, wasn't it?
No, I'm fairly certain that Ian Miles Cheong called the Canadian police and told them Andy Worski was on drugs and had a weapon and was going to hurt somebody.
That was this same calendar year, actually. That wasn't even last year. That happened this exact same year, yes. Nicholas Diorio says, Quartering just said Ian used crowdfund money on eThoughts. Yeah, we talked about that with Quartering once or twice. How not only that, he lied to get one of his eThoughts hired at Quartering's exclusively games.
Was that the one that cucked him? Well, didn't he get cucked by a woman that wanted to fuck Worski after he tried to get him flashbanged?
Yes. That was the one. So that was the one that actually recorded him. She's the one that put out the audio. So these are two different women. One, he got hired at Quartering's exclusively games, and then he was so bad at his job there and so pathetic and pissed off so many people he had to get fired. So that came out after. But there's another chick, and that's Alex. And that's who Worski, ended up getting with later or whatever. And yeah, Ian was also trying to, talk to her and act all badass and cool in DMs. And that's when he told the swatting story was to her.
He's a Chad, man. That's a Chad
That's how
move.
that came out. That makes panties drop immediately when he's
getting dog shot.
I don't know I don't understand why that sounded cool or what, but talk about grifters. Gorka, it's almost impossible to watch his fucking show because
it is fucking impossible. He's got they were calling it a boomer bladder. Like he gets up I timed it. Every 2 to 5 minutes he goes on a 5-minute break. And what AM radio station is he hosted on?
Yeah, I mean, so I grew up listening to AM radio and I still do on occasion. I'm not aware of usually it's so they come back around usually 6 minutes past the hour, and then they'll stay on till around 20 minutes past the hour or so, and then they'll take another commercial and come back. I don't know where he's at. He said he had 2 million. Did you hear this, by the way, Jim? That he said he had 2 million listeners. And
I love that he begged them. Fucking begged them. Yeah, he's like, I'm getting bullied by a little Mexican guy on the internet. Please give me thumbs up, and nobody would. He's just in the bathroom in a rage, selling his body pillows and Metamucil. That's great.
2 million listeners. He put out the clarion call that he needed your help to defeat fascism or something like that, and 200 people showed up. It was
they've been doing it to him for 4. I promise you, even if you're not into the politics of this, just keep an eye on Gorka's live stream because he's going to fucking go crazy in another week or two. He's losing his shit because they fuck with him relentlessly.
They're not going to stop.
Plus, he takes call-ins.
Oh, he does. Yeah, he takes call-ins.
Yeah, he does.
Maybe they were on
I've just deleted another 30 callers.
I'm not sure if he realizes this or not, but they're not gonna stop. Isn't constant urination a sign of prostate cancer? I don't know. Gorka might want to get.
I think he has the diabetes because he's got a bit of he's a hefty dude, right? So I'm thinking he just sits there, drinks sugary drinks, and then every time he comes back to, if you watch, he's always kind of fucking with a zipper. He's taking a tinkle every time.
And he's scrolling. Is he? Do you think he's actually looking at the YouTube chat and stuff while he's?
Oh my god! Yeah,
it appears like he is.
He looks at his phone every fucking minute. Yeah, he's getting furious with it.
Also, BlizzCon, I saw you talking about that today. We covered it a couple weeks ago when the whole Blizzard stuff broke out, but of course, it just happened today, so we really haven't covered BlizzCon.
Oh, BlizzCon was fantastic.
They were showing up in Winnie the Pooh suits. I guess you were following it closer than me, so maybe you could give a little.
I'll give you a quick. I'll give you a quick summary. So, let's everybody give a congratulations to J. Allen Ballard. What the hell is the guy's name? The president of Blizzard, the guy that gave the opening speech, the apology. He's close to transitioning fully now. I don't know if you saw what he looked like, but that dude, he's 1 foot in a dress already. So he goes up on stage and shows off his new tits. And then they go and show the new games, which is basically Diablo 3.5, Overwatch 1.5, and like a new dragon card in Hearthstone. So it was a real bang-up fucking show. Really worth the wait.
Oh, yeah.
I have it in show links.
Yeah, I'm showing a bunch of the pictures on the screen now too with the Winnie the Pooh costumes. Let me see. Oh, you have a picture of him, Gator? Hold on. Oh my god.
Oh wow, he does look like he's
Twitter.
transitioning.
What is this?
Yeah, doesn't he? He looks like that. Yeah, and I wasn't making that up. This dude's a tranny.
Wow, that skullet's got to go, man.
Oh yeah, it looks like he's got some kind of makeup on too.
And he's got a pride flag, a little pride flag pin on his lapel on the right. If you look on the collar, he's got a little rainbow.
I think he's holding his penis between his thighs, too. You can tell by the way he moves.
Rand, do you got something to say, or you got a question, or some type of
a lot of it already
profound...
got said. You know, I wanted to point out a few things about Seb Gorka, but I think they already got pointed out. I just want to point out he looks like it kind of looks like Rip Torn, and if he was just fed incredibly fatty lemons. He's not looking too good. And he's probably not going to.
He's looking busted as shit. Have you been watching his streams, watching him freak out?
I've been watching the highlights of it. So the bit where he let me see if I can do his affectation. He does that fake British thing. We're getting bombarded by the trolls here on the YouTube, but we'll show them how strong our community is. Why don't you go onto YouTube and give us a thumbs up? We'll show those trolls who we are here on America First. And then he gets 500 upvotes and 3,000 downvotes.
Oh, okay,
nice showing there, knockoff Rip Torn.
This is what I'm kind of wondering. Is part of this because Fuentes' show is called America First? Because they both have the same name
that
for a
actually
show.
occurred to me. I don't really think it is, but that crossed my mind too, because they do have the same name for the show. And to be fair, I mean, look, America First, the saying America First has been out there for a while. So I won't even say that he stole it. But yeah, that did cross my mind. And Gorka, this has been brought up by others, but he does have a lot of nerve going on there and talking about what a real American. He's got like 15 different passports talking about real American values and all this and that when he has no real ties to the country in the first place. It's kind of hilarious. Let's see. Go ahead, Rand. You're going to say something?
I was just going to put, there's this, and obviously they don't get the memes, but every time they keep going, we conservatives believe, and both Kirk and Seb do the same thing. We, the conservatives, we, the conservatives.
Honestly,
it's like
look,
these fucking pod people have come in and decided that they're the real human beings.
There's a lot
how do
of
you
things,
do, fellow kids?
Look, there's a lot of things they don't get, and what I don't understand is why they don't just hire somebody who clearly understands what's going on. Because just this whole week, I mean, this stuff is kind of been bubbling.
They do keep hiring people who know what's going on, and then they have to fire them.
Well, I'm just saying, look, this stuff has been bubbling for a while with Fuentes, and this whole week they've just compounded mistake after mistake, and they're making it worse and worse by responding and just blowing it up. They're doubling, tripling his audience.
Yeah, they are. He's gained 6,000 people on YouTube and 8,000 on Twitter just in the last week from this.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what they're doing for this guy, and I hate, maybe I shouldn't say it out loud, but that's not the right strategy. I don't understand what exactly they're going for here. It just doesn't really make sense to me. They're increasing his profile, making him more well known, and I mean making him more money too. To be frank, so
you do what you have to do. At the end of the day, their strategy is to try to get him deplatformed off of everything, so they don't care how big of a profile they give him. If they're just going to take it away at the end of the day.
We conservatives are flying this plane, and while the racist and anti-Semitic autopilot keeps telling us to pull up, we know the true direction. is by pushing the joystick straight up and plunging directly into the ground. America first.
Well, Ralph, you know what you have to do? Call into Groper's show and start talking about wooden doors.
Well, I think one of the biggest things about this is that like Nick didn't do this as like a strategic months in preparation planning to like do this. This was on a whim, it seems, and he was able to like to fill a Q&A session with 9 out of 11 of his people asking like really like awkward questions to Charlie Kirk.
Well,
and,
so
like, that.
Yeah, there's a reason for this. First off, one of the reasons they're having a hard time slowing it down is because they have this tour schedule and there's a different fucking stop every single day. So there's more and more opportunity to keep the story rolling. So it's either A, cancel the tour, cancel the Q&A. I mean, there's not a lot of good options here. So they can't really stop it that way. And then when you have the Q&A section, only the most dedicated people usually get up and ask a question. So you have the people who will even show up for something like this in the first place. Going to see Charlie Kirk speak, I hate to break this to the audience, that's not really seen as like a hip thing to do, you know. Most people got other shit they'd rather do than go to a TV USA event. So you narrow it down to that level already. So then you have the people that show up. Then you have a separate cut of the people who will actually get up and ask a question. So if you're one of those dedicated people, you're a big fan of Nick's and you're there already, you already have a leg up in terms of asking a question. You're way more likely to have one of Nick's people ask a question than somebody who just got roped into one of these. A lot of times they'll fill it up by saying, I've been in this shit that's happened to me before where, if you go to this event where this Politico's there speaking, you get extra credit in your class and stuff like that. That's how they fill up a lot of these, actually. So don't be fooled necessarily when you see if you see a lot of people there.
Even with that, I mean, it's not a huge turnout. Like, if it wasn't for Nick and his
exactly.
audience, there'd be nobody sitting in these fucking things. Are you guys surprised by the people that have? I've been paying attention to like who's coming out on what side, and it's been really interesting. I mean, you got like Stefan Molyneux, Michelle, was it Malkin, the Asian?
Malkin.
Yeah. What was it? I think Cernovich like straddled the fence on it.
Cernovich is kind of riding it. I've noticed that too, and I talked to Mike recently. Yeah, he seems to be kind of trying to ride the middle of it a little bit. But Ann Coulter was retweeting a bunch of anti-Charlie Kirk stuff yesterday too.
Mike Cernovich doesn't want to have a Dick Masterson experience when he checks his bank account tomorrow.
Anne recognizes that Nick is the straight Milo. So she's got to lay in on him. She's got.
Well, I do think part of it is, and Jim can take it from there too, but I think a lot of it is you can see which part of the dispute has the juice. You know what I mean?
You can see who's having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I love
not
and the
Captain Pisspan.
When is O.J. Simpson buying that bank again, Ralph?
Wait, go ahead, Jim.
No. I was just saying, Kirk's outgunned. I mean, you can't watch this shit take place and be like, oh yeah, Kirk's the one that's coming out the winner of this.
Yeah, like the momentum is all clearly on Nick's side. Like you don't even have to be, some meme lord expert internet person to see which side is winning.
Well, yeah, only one side's laughing. That's the thing.
Exactly.
You think random people coming across this just want to have a chuckle, a smuckle, if you will. And watching Seb Gorka shit himself in rage every day.
Exactly.
Pretty fucking great.